Well, I literally just got done recording our last episode. Well, this being the current episode. Wow, I ramble a lot. But this episode is actually something I wanted to do as episode one, but we never could actually match up our times. This episode is with my friend James Hatton. James is a he's actually an artist. He does a lot of different things. He does something called In His Likeness. Check out his site at inhislikeness.com. Also check out something cast at somethingcast.com, where he talks about general geekery podcast. I may be on there sometime. I don't know. We talked about it. We talk about it throughout the podcast anyway. What we talk about for basically the first 10 minutes is about Let's Plays. Mm, I started doing Let's Plays about a couple days ago with the new Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. PS4 is really good with sharing media and making that my format of choice when I actually do streaming, when I get Bloodborne and when I get Final Fantasy Type Zero. Then we actually start going into basically a breakdown of old school games versus new school games, why we don't like playing certain games, why we like playing certain kinds of games. So this has actually been pretty fun. I'm a little more lively. He's really lively. So we kind of bring out the best in each other. This episode runs about 57 minutes. It's actually one of my longer episodes. I'm really happy that we actually went on without too much trouble. So really, this is the Regression of Gaming podcast, episode 3 with James Hatton. Enjoy. All right, give me a second here. I'm gonna go ahead and record this thing and we're gonna get started. All right,
I didn't realize we were actually doing a show today.
we could do it.
Oh, I'm fine with that. That's fine. I just didn't know.
Surprise!
I'm just sitting here like with loud crunching noises while I'm eating almonds.
Well, I'm just going to start it right now and
Do
talk
it.
about. This is basically episode 3 of the Regression of Gaming podcast. We had a little bit of a time off. I actually moved to Columbus in the last several months, getting situated in my new place. And right now, I actually have on the line Mr. James Hatton, one of my favorite guys.
Oh, you
Oh,
stop.
oh, stop it. He actually, I met him at, what did I met? SegoyCon?
Yep, probably SegoyCon, probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah, in Cincinnati, Ohio. He actually is really cool. Just if you actually get a chance to sit down and talk to him for a few minutes, he's actually a pretty cool dude, and I'm really happy to call him my friend.
Oh,
Um, you are. Shut up. Shut up.
I'm going to tell you. No, the funny thing about that, my favorite thing is when people say you start with the word "actually." It's become one of my favorite things to notice when people are like, "Actually, he's a good guy," because the inference is that prior to that you thought he wasn't.
Well, look at your picture. Whenever you send us a thing from Atsuri-Con, you're like all menacing, arms folded, like, yeah.
And what's funny is where I got that photo. It's the nerdiest thing ever. I got that photo at the anniversary. I think it was 20th anniversary for Vampire the Masquerade. We went down to New Orleans, and they took like vampire photos of you. But it's like I look so menacing.
You look like you're about to kick ass or chew bubble gum, and you're out of bubble gum.
Truth, very truth.
Now you run something called the Something Cast. That's somethingcast.com.
Mm.
Pretty much a general podcast, a lot of nerdy things. Am I about on the same wavelength?
Yeah. It's me and my buddy Rob, and it comes out about twice a month. And we pick one topic and we babble about it to death. We're both New Jersey natives, a kind of shared history of geekdom between Renaissance festivals and video games, and we've done stuff about various movie universes, guilty pleasure music. It's all over the spectrum for just kind of a fun hour of silliness.
Awesome. I think I listened I think 1 or 2 episodes. I can't remember what the topics were. I think I know I listened to at least one episode for a little bit only because I started listening. Then I got to go do something and I can't bring it with me because I'm on the computer. Blah 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 blah. But everyone else should actually listen to us. To the 10 of you that listen to me. Hey, my fan base is small. It'll grow.
Oh, always.
It will always grow. So we're gonna talk about Let's Plays. And I think you and I started talking about it a little bit, and I actually started delving into the world of Let's Plays with, since I have a PS4, and the PS4 is actually perfect for doing some sharing and some live casting, and I'm starting to get why people kind of like it.
Good,
But
explain it to me because I don't get it.
it kind of brings back a little bit of the old school, you have Super Nintendo and you have a game and people around you actually watch the game and going, ooh, ah, and try and, want to, because I used to do that. I used to do that with a bunch of friends. We'd come over and I go play the latest Super Nintendo game that we rent. And we're just
Hmm.
sitting there. We actually sometimes trade off controllers. I mean, you obviously can't do that with a Let's Play, but I think it kind of brings that back to a certain level. But also I think there's a social component to it also, as well. And I kind of like the social component where you play online, you can talk to people, you can interact. Other people will interact with each other as you're playing. You don't have to necessarily be a good gamer. I mean, it kind of helps. I mean, you should watch me playing my Devil May Cry stuff, and I'm terrible right now because I haven't played it in 2 years. But I still love the remastered, even though everyone thinks, oh, it's shitty, Dante. I still think it's a pretty set system. But I digress. Um,
I I've never been able to get into the Devil May Cry series, and that's because the first time I played it, I was at my friend's house. He was like, "Oh, try it; it's really good." There's like a giant church, and I don't remember whether it was a tarantula or a scorpion monster.
mhm.
Never got past it. Just couldn't figure out how to beat him. I've been gaming for 20 flipping years. I can't figure out how to beat one spider. Just hit his juicy underbelly. Couldn't do it.
Oh, I know you're talking about. It's that health spider because you have to basically dash at him twice. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna go into that.
Yeah, don't ruin it for me. Just,
So you're saying you don't get the Let's Plays, which I understand. A lot of people don't get it.
yeah,
On some level, I don't get it either.
yeah. For me, I think because I understand the concept. If you and say five of us wanted to sit on and for one of us got a badass new game that I got a pre-release copy of it or something silly like that, and everybody wanted to sit and watch it. Five of us sitting goofing off. I get it. I think my problem is that I don't understand the cult of personality of watching people play video games. Like I personally, I'm very if there's a game I want to play. Admittedly, I'm a grown up. I can go out and I can buy my own damn game, and I can sit down in front of my PS4 or my computer or what have you, and I can play it. I don't understand. I also it's to the same. I don't understand people just watching other people play Minecraft on YouTube forever. I get looking at somebody's awesome, cool. When I hit this button, it plays the Portal song. Or, hey, look, I made a full replica of the Starship Enterprise. I get a video like that. I don't understand all right, watch me build my house and go through 20 nights of Minecraft. And these people have like millions of followers. So clearly I'm in the wrong.
That stuff I don't get. Because, well, then again, I'm gonna show my biases. I'm not a big Minecraft person. I never was a big Minecraft person.
Fair enough.
I probably will never get into it. But to each their own. I always say on the podcast, like the last two episodes, you play what you want. I'm not here to say that game sucks. You shouldn't play it. If you get joy from it, do it.
Oh, completely. I won't even bitch when I had a friend of mine who was like, "Can you start to play Candy Crush? I need more coins." To which I said, "No, but you enjoy that."
But I think part of the reason why I'm getting into the Let's Plays, and then this is just basically pure selfishness.
Sure.
I think it motivates me to play a little more because I get into the rigmarole of daily life. Right now, trying to find a job, putting out resumes, MatsuriCon stuff, other things, and more or less now that if I actually start, sharing my experience, I feel like, hey, there may be one or two people watching me. I kind of have a responsibility to actually play this. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe it's just
That
how I'm wired. I don't know.
No, I'm sure other people agree with you and think about it the same way you do. But for me, I would so between podcasts, webcomics, and a bunch of other stupid stuff I do, I don't know whether I'd want to take one thing that I like to do on my own solitarily alone wearing headphones crying into a bag of Cheetos. I don't know whether I I don't know whether I'd want to make that another job.
No, and it perfectly understandable. I think some of the appeal of it for why people watch is the reactions. Like the big ones I could think of offhand is PewDiePie, Markiplier, Smosh. All of them are reactionary based. You stay tuned to see how they're going to react. Like the only one I don't want to say tolerate, but I like Markiplier. I do actually like watching him, even
Okay.
though his stuff is a little bit, you know, over the top. He's actually fun to watch. Whereas PewDiePie, I can't do it. I can't do
So,
it. It's like a 20-year-old on meth.
and the
Sorry.
only reason I've ever seen anything with him in it is because that episode he was on that episode of South Park, and I was like, that's actually the dude. Crazy. I had
Yeah,
no idea.
and Smosh does a lot more stuff than just Let's Plays. They do a lot of different videos. They're like they've got their own media empire, which I'm trying to build my own media empire. You're trying to build your own media empire. We should join
Damn
for-
right.
we should join forces.
I like it. I'm in.
Yes. All right. Let's do this thing.
Because I know for a fact that eventually one of us will have to usurp the other, and we'll have to fight in a Highlander-like battle, so we can absorb the other's quickening. And I'm down. I've got swords.
I got swords too. Want to go?
Damn it!
I've got
Hedging my bets.
I have a gnarly broadsword which is not weighted right, so there's a good chance you're gonna lob my head off.
Um, so I had a crazy ex-girlfriend about 20 years ago. So I have the Highlander katana.
Mm-hmm.
So she bought me that. So I have a dragon head katana floating around here somewhere. I think the cats use it when I'm not looking.
That's some talented cats.
They're wonderful. I love my cats. I love them. But so I would get if I'll tell you what I did. I did watch, and I hate admitting how long I watched the stupid Twitch Plays Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy that. And that was just because I loved the thought experiment of it.
Oh yeah.
But as far as watching some dude play Warcraft, like the old Warcrafts, or whatever's new that's coming out, if somebody playing the Order, I honestly, I would much prefer to play the game instead of just watching somebody do it. I would rather to explore the narrative myself.
Yeah, and I remember when I ran one of the Regression Gaming panels at Anime Central last year, and we actually got into the topic about Let's Plays, and several people were saying, well, I can't really afford the game, so I feel like I'm playing the game when I'm watching a Let's Play, and I had to stop them and say, you're not playing it. You're watching the experiences of someone else playing it. It's not a substitution for playing it. So I want to lay that out right now. That is not a substitute for playing.
And I think you might be onto something. I think it might very well be a generational thing, because you and I are both grown-ups. We both reasonably have, at least bank accounts.
We're not grown-ups. We're just...
All right, fair enough.
We're gonna grow old. We just won't grow up. We just have responsibilities.
Yeah, I'm a 35-year-old in feety pigeon. I am currently wearing a Prinny sweatshirt, so I don't have anything to say about that. But
I have penguin slippers on, so you know.
But I think part of the difference is you're right. Younger kids will be them 12 up to 17, 18 before they start getting regular gigs and jobs where they can spend money on frivolous shit like video games. Pardon my language. Oh, good. I think you're right that if I was 14 and I didn't have the scratch to or a birthday or Christmas coming up so I could get the new Final Fantasy game, I very well might watch somebody else do it. But I think as a grown-up, I look at them and go, my wife the other day, she goes, the new 3DS is out. Let's go get one. I was like, do you really want to drop? You have a 3DS? She goes, but I want the new one. You have a job. You're a grown-up. Fine, let's go. So that's what we did, because we're grown-ups. We can have cake for breakfast, and she wants a new 3DS. My darling gets a new 3DS. 16-year-olds can't do that. No,
they can't. There are some 16-year-olds that I kind of know that do, but that makes me kind of sick in a way. But speaking of being grown-up, I had pancakes for lunch.
Oh, you delicious bastard, you.
I had high hop for lunch, all right?
I don't think I've ever heard it called high hop. See, I'm from New Jersey, so this is the land of the diner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see 3 diners from my window. I mean, there's diners everywhere. So we don't really do a lot of Denny's or IHOPs or Steak and Shakes, but we just go to diners, which are breakfast meccas. But I've never heard it called high hop.
No, well, yeah, I think IHOPs are here around here. Well, I lived in Dayton before I came up here, and there were no such things as IHOPs. There were Waffle Houses.
There's also a Waffle House, yeah.
But we don't really have diners, though. Like, when I go to Tennessee, there's like a diner in Chattanooga that I hit. And it's amazing. Like, oh my God, $5 for a bunch of food. Just put it in my mouth.
Yeah, New Jersey is, I could explain, I'm a New Jersey lover. I know a bunch of people are out there like, Jersey, really? Ew. No, huge New Jersey fan over here. I could tell you the history as to why New Jersey's the diner capital of the world, but that's completely unrelated to this topic.
Hey, one of my best friends lives in Jersey. Actually, he's from
I'm
Jersey. I think he
I'm
lives
right
in New.
here.
Well, okay, I know two people from Jersey then. All right. God. Well, someone I've known longer than you. How about that?
All right, fine.
Yeah, he's from Succossona, Jersey.
Oh, wait, okay. Fine.
And he
Suck your son
now
off.
and now he works in New York. So, but he like works for Oda. He used to work for Otakon, and now he's like, these con things I don't do anymore.
To which, funny enough, my response is Otakon. Oh, there's a show I don't do anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but no, that I think actually that springboards into something else though, just the generational gap between I don't want to say old school game because it really makes me feel kind of sick when I say old school game because then I have to acknowledge my age.
You have to acknowledge the fact that you remember playing Sierra games, right? Did you used
Yep.
to play the old? There you go.
Yeah.
There's a generational difference then and there. We had Sierra. Now these kids have Telltale.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
really like it's my new generational gap. Do you know anything about King's Quest or Quest for Glory? No. You must know about Telltale games.
But I know something about Telltale games. I haven't really played them. I know of them. I want to play them. I just don't have time with like the
They're fun.
stack of. I've heard they're a lot of fun. I really have. But it goes into like an old school gaming mentality versus a new school gaming mentality.
Okay. Go on.
And let's go back to how we used to play, not even with like Sierra games, but like we're talking like old school like Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
Sure.
How gaming was hard.
Oh, yes, it was.
But gaming was hard partly because of poor game design.
Also true.
I mean,
and
everyone.
no save feature.
Oh yeah, save feature. What's that? We had passwords.
Oh, and if you got one letter wrong, oh god, I remember having blank sheets of paper sitting at my desk that were full of codes, that were the passwords to like Metroid, Kid Icarus, all that sort of thing, so I could get back to where I was.
And these things called these rental places where you can rent a game for a weekend. You had a weekend to beat the game, so it was a necessity for you to be good.
And no game was bad if you bought it because you only had to find a finite selection of games you could purchase.
Yes.
We didn't have Steam where you could be like, oh my god, there's a video game store in front of me all the time, and hey, that game's $3. No, all games were $40 to $50, and you had to love the games you got and defend them to their death, even though you bought Back to the Future and it's the worst piece of shit that's ever been placed on a cart.
Hey! I got Double Dragon on the NES for Christmas, and I love the hell out of that game.
Oh, sure.
Even though it was crap.
Yeah. I still, to this day, I'm like, Battletoads was alright. I never got past level 3, but Battletoads was alright.
You shut your mouth about Battletoads. Battletoads is amazing.
Shut up.
You shut your mouth, good sir. Battletoads is amazing, and don't you ever forget that. Actually, it was actually really bad. When your gameplay is based on memorizing where the enemies are, that's real bad gameplay.
You're putting me in a panic attack mode. I remember that. I remember hours sitting in front of that stupid game. It's the reason, it's games like that I think I finally became a full-on role-play gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a period of time where if there was a new role-playing game that came out, I would save my shekels and save my time, where I got to buy video games, and it would be just like, oh, cool, new Dragon Quest, or a brand new Final Fantasy, or whatever the du jour was, Ultima, Wizardry, whatever was on the PC. Like, I would only buy those because they would absorb me so deeply, and I could go back to them. I could save and reload and things.
See, I never got into the RPGs on the computer. Like, I never got into Ultima. I mean, I did play Ultima Blackgate and a little bit of it, but I'm kind of like, I think I was a little too young for it, or I just didn't understand because age. But I think my first real RPG that I really took a hold of was Dragon Warrior.
Okay, Dragon Warrior is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing, especially the end where the guy offers you, you want to join and rule the world with me, and then And then if you do join, oh wait, you go back to level 1 because you were foolish.
Yeah, because you decided to be a jackass and to give the non-standard pat answer.
I forgot to say
Oh,
spoiler alert, but really, if you haven't played it in 25 years, that's on you.
do you do you really have to spoiler alert a game that came out when I was 6? Like,
Some people do. I'm just making fun.
here, I'll make this easy for you. Verbal Kint, Kaiser Sose. Fuck you. Let's go.
But no, I played Dragon War, then I played the original Final Fantasy, and then I actually stopped playing RPGs for a while because I was more of an action oriented gamer. So I played a lot of the Mega Man games. I played Bomberman.
I love Bomberman.
Bomberman is awesome. Like, I remember the old 8-bit cover art where it was like this badass guy in a spacesuit holding this huge bomb, and now he's this cutesy little guy holding bombs, which,
Do you remember the cover art to the original Mega Man? Like that
yes.
horrible piece of like Frank Frazetta vomited on a box.
They did awesome. One for 9.
It's the same guy, like the same style?
Same style and everything.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's wonderfully bad.
I'd have to go look.
No, but like, I'm just gonna put it out there. Mega Man 10 was probably one of the best Mega Man games they've made.
Really? Is this X or is this actually 10?
10.
Okay, I don't know. I know they started to get into weird numbering.
Yeah, but Mega Man X was kind of like, we're making a whole new continuity, or not necessarily continuity, but it's the future. And I mean, Mega Man X 1, 2, and 3 are probably some of the best Mega Man games I've played, aside from like Mega Man 2.
Right.
But after X3, it starts getting really, really weird with the plot, because I think at that point they didn't know where they were going. And then the Zero series was just kind of like, holy crap, they just turned on the difficulty for Zero. Which I love Zero. 1 and 2 are like fucking awesome.
I will have to go look at that.
Yeah, Zero collection is like $20 if you can find it.
The last one I tried, I played one of the ones on, I don't remember which DS it was. I think it was on the regular old handheld DS before it was the 2DS. Of the battle card something or another. Where you're putting,
I have
microchips and shit everywhere. I tried it. I was like, man, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't play Mega Man Pokemon. Like, if you want to play it, again, go for it. It's not my thing. I played Mega Man Legends, which was actually kind of cool for what it was. Mm-hmm. Network Transmission was really cool. Like, I like the concept of Mega Man Network Transmission for the GameCube.
Yeah, I've never played it, so I don't.
But I will always keep with the canon of the original Mega Man and the X series.
That was easy for you to say.
Yeah.
So what games are you?
What?
So what games do you stream on your DS?
On my DS?
No. What games do you like stream for people to watch?
Oh, right now I'm doing Devil May Cry, the definitive edition.
Okay.
And realizing that I am rusty with Devil May Cry, and also the hardcore rebalance totally dicks you over.
Interesting.
I mean, I still like it though. I love DMC. I love the fact that I love the gameplay balance for the most part. I love the combo system, which was probably some of the best I've played since Devil May Cry 3, which I know people will say, oh, what the hell are you talking about? Devil May Cry 4 sucked. Let's just put it out there right now. It was terrible.
Ooh, people out there, get your pitchforks.
Well, I'm waiting for the DMC4 remaster, which is what they're doing for October for the PS4, and It''ll give that a chance because they're supposed to rebalance everything as well for that. And if it actually is a little more rebalanced, I will give it more of my attention. But for the most part, DMC4 I did not like.
Do you know what game I just bought on my Vita? Because for those who don't know, the Vita is like awesome. If you're a huge fan of old PlayStation games and JRPGs,
I want a Vita. I do want a Vita. I really do.
It's sadly it doesn't get a lot of support, but it's a great system. I just bought the Jak and Daxter collection. I forgot how much I love Jak and Daxter.
I've never played the Jak and Daxter series. I never have.
It's a Naughty Dog before they did Crash Bandicoot, or right around the same time anyway.
Yeah.
So it's early Naughty Dog, which means the game's still tight, but it's a little rough around the edges. It's a collector game. It's no different than, say, a Mario, Super Mario 64, or like a Spyro in gameplay style. Mm-hmm. Little smoother around the edges because it's further down the line of generation. But all three games. The second game I probably played it for as long as I played any low end hour on role playing games. So we're probably looking at like 25 hours back when it first came out on the PS2, I think. So,
Yeah,
but it's all three on one cart that just comes on your Vita. It was a download for I think $20. Not bad
nice.
at all.
Not about now. Can you play old PSP games on the Vita, or is that you need a PSP to play PSP games, or do you need and then you need Vita to play Vita, obviously?
Hit or miss. They put some of the PS. They have to approve the game to be on the Vita. So where I would say there's probably about half the catalog from the PSP,
Hmm.
but there's some glaring omissions like Star Ocean.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, you kind of have to go on your Vita store or go to the Sony store and go, yeah, this one works here, this one works there, this one works wherever. Because there's been ones that I wanted to play because I never had a PSP, but I can't, like Star Ocean very specifically.
Yeah, I want to play the Final Fantasy Disgaea and yeah, I don't or Dissidia. I don't even know how it's pronounced anymore.
Oh, Dissidia, that's different than Disgaea because I was going to say Disgaea is my jam.
I really need to get into Disgaea though. I really need to get into Disgaea. I've
Grind
seen
the grinding. That's what that game is. Have you ever played any of them?
No, I haven't. I've seen
Har-
it in action, and I've always seen it in action, but I've never played it. It's
yeah,
just
it's pure tactics. That's all it is.
like we're talking Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre
Yeah,
Tactics.
I mean they're basically the same concept.
Okay.
Grid based role playing game, real tongue in cheek. The key to and it's Atlas Games, basically the
Oh,
guys who now make better games than Square Enix.
yeah.
Um, so it's grind every which way you can. There's the main plot line, which is fine. You can get through that by level, let's say 60 or 70 in your standard role playing world. But then you can go into any item and you get random levels and you can raise up the levels of items up to 999, or you can then go do extra boss secret missions and they have unlockables and for a pseudo tactical role playing game it's fairly unheard of, but I've dropped hundreds of hours into the Disgaea game and they're all really funny. They all actually are pretty damn amusing, and that's me who has a real gallows sense of humor.
Hmm.
High recommendation. You can find Disgaea 1 on pretty much every system out there.
Okay. So should I start with Disgaea 1 or should I just go with like I seen 3 in action?
Yeah, they're all they're not
There's no
they're not
continuity.
there's light continuity. You'll get a couple jokes that you wouldn't have and you'll meet one or two characters that you wouldn't have, but they all seem to happen in the sort of parallel worlds versus in a sequential universe.
Yeah. The only reason why I'd want to get a Vita is for Persona 4 Gold. That's the only
One,
reason why, and I need to justify the purchase.
I I have P4G, and P4G is one of those problem games for me
Mm-hmm.
because I love, like I said, I love RPGs and I love JRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
P4G is so complicated as far as your story and who's doing what because it has a very your four characters are having their day at school. One goes to do this, and that's going to raise their strength up a point. This one's going to go over here. It's going to start this quest that's going to unlock later. This one's going to go over here and buy stuff so they have it when you go to the, etc. You put that game down for a week. You pick it back up. You go, I don't know who you are, what you're doing, why you're here, why I'm here, what the hell's going on? How come she's got pigtails? How come my favorite monster is really weak? Was I going to raise him like a magic carp? What the fuck's going on? I love the game, though.
The only reason why I want to get into Persona is because of Arena. Like, I started playing Arena, and like, I mean, I know it's not going to be like Arena because Arena is a fighting game, but just
Yeah.
the atmosphere of Persona 4 is like, oh, I want to play.
Musically and artistically, it is one of the most beautiful JRPG series I've ever played.
Wow. Now,
Like,
what about... Go ahead, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, please go.
No, well, what about Shin Megami Tensei?
I would say that I like the more recent Persona games
Mm-hmm.
more than I've liked older Tencent games. I haven't played any of the more recent Tencent games, so I can't speak to those.
Okay. God, making things hard because I already have a pile of games that I have to play because I'm going through on the PS3 I have Tales of Xillia that I'm going through right now, which is actually a pretty surprisingly good game.
Not familiar.
It's from the Tales series.
Oh, okay.
So I like the combat, which I've never played a Tales series game, but apparently this is kind of how it is, where you're basically doing like live combat. But with Xillia, you actually pair with someone, you can actually do combos with them, and then a third person can assist.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
It's an interesting concept. I kind of like it so far, but now Devil May Cry has taken my time, and more than likely either Bloodborne or Final Fantasy Type Zero when I get them, it's gonna probably take up my time as well.
Yeah, mine for right now on the PC. I've been playing this little indie game I found. What is it? Hand of Fate. It is so cool. It's like I'm a big fan of roguelikes.
Hmm.
Huge fan of roguelikes. It's played out like a card game. Every time your DM, who's sitting right across from you and mocking you, you flip over a card. He tells you a little bit of the narrative story. You gain weapons or money or what have you. And so you have a small amount of resources to work through each level. Occasionally, you'll come across one and it will be monsters, and the game kind of melts, and you rise up in a monster field. You have to beat up the monsters. It's almost like a choose your own adventure game. It's a real weird, sticky wicket. It's a strange game. Hand of Fate. It's on Steam. But
Don't tell me that, because then I'll probably end up buying it, and it'll be in like my queue of forever that I have not played, because I still have Transistor to play, Child of
oh
Light
my
to
god,
play.
Transistor was. I just finished it on the because PS4 PS Plus gave it out last month.
Hmm.
I I fell in love with it. I sat till like 2 in the morning. I was like shitty for work the next day because I was enjoying it so much.
I've heard it's so good. I probably may end up getting another copy so I can play on the PS4, but I have it on my Steam account, and I don't think my computer can handle it at the moment.
What kind of compute? What do you have? A Commodore? Jesus.
Well, okay, technically I have an Athlon, or is it what is it? It's basically a quad core Athlon. It's a really nice computer, but I have a shitty video card.
Okay.
That's the
I won't.
problem.
I won't judge you.
Well, because I try to play Final Fantasy 14, and I only can play it on like half my screen size. Like I have a dual monitor setup,
Hmm.
and I only play it on half the screen, and it kind of goes at like 20 frames a second. So like
Fair
I need
enough.
a better video card if I'm going to be playing on my PC as well. I mean, my PC is pretty beefy. I mean, it's got like 8 gigs of RAM on it. It has 2 terabytes of hard drive space. I mean, I won't be upgrading it for the next several years.
Yeah.
It just needs a better video card.
I admittedly am getting ready to. I've been Frankensteining this computer that I have for the last probably 5 years.
Hmm.
So it was nice and tight when I bought it, but now it's kind of waxing and waning. So it's been, well, I'll just get a new piece and throw it in there, and I'll make it a little better here. It's getting to the point where I'm going to have to go and get a new motherboard, which is usually my sign to, all right, start over. So I'm getting ready sometime in the next year to get a battle station.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what would you choose? Would you rather just stay pure PC gaming, or would you rather go console gaming?
I wax and wane. I've
You
always
like
been one
that
of those.
expression, wax and wane. You love that expression.
Did I say it more than once?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I try and catch myself when I have ticks. Um, yeah, it's different for me because whether it's I jump back and forth because there's times when I wasn't ready to get a PS4, and then my lovely lady for I believe it was my birthday last year, Christmas. I don't remember. It was a day. She got me the PS4 as a present. I was like, "That's so wonderful! You're so beautiful. I love you to death." I just bought a brand new graphics card for my PC, and there's no new PS4 games yet that I want to play because it was all very actiony, first persony,
Hmm.
and that's not my bag. So I was like, "So I love that you bought this for us." But there's very little I want to play on it right now except for Infamous. So it sat there for a little while. So I kept playing on PC games, and now there's a handful of really great PS4 games, and there's tons of great indie stuff. Um, that I love both. I no longer can pick. I wish there was one that was better than the other for me. But no, there's some games that I just enjoy much more on my big screen TV, and there's other ones I much more enjoy with headphones on, ignoring everyone in front of my computer.
Hey, I can't. I really can't say anything bad about that, because there are still some games on the PC that I will play. StarCraft.
Yeah. Oh, that could you play that on a console?
No, I mean there
Yeah,
was
I was gonna
StarCraft.
say.
There was StarCraft 64.
Okay,
I'm not joking. I could
I'm sure
tell
there
you.
was.
Go to YouTube and look at the StarCraft 64 ads. They were classic.
Oh, yeah. See, I also never did the N64. I missed that entire generation.
Well, it was only. I mean, and this is going to draw some like aggro hate. The only reason why the M64 was there was for GoldenEye and Zelda.
That's fair. I remember going over to people's friend's house and playing GoldenEye. Like,
And Shadows of the Empire.
okay, I'll believe. Oh no, don't forget No Mercy.
That's right. They did. Yeah, No Mercy was pretty damn sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was when like creative wrestlers were like the shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wrestling games have sucked for a long time.
Yeah. Well, there was a SmackDown series, which I love the first 3 or 4 SmackDown games they came out with, like 2 for the PS1, and then when they jumped to the PS2, it was like, oh my god, I could do all this.
Hmm.
And now like creative wrestlers like a science.
Yeah, I've tried the last WWE game. I didn't even buy it. I just tried it,
Hmm.
and I didn't like anything about it. But this is coming from a role play guy. I want a good storyline mode. I want a good career mode for wrestling.
For wrestling.
But they're so much more focused on what everybody else is focused on with his multiplayer and community atmosphere and
Honestly, I think the best wrestling game I've played, other than No Mercy, because No Mercy was really awesome with Creator Wrestler, I think the second SmackDown game for the PS1.
I want to say that wasn't Here Comes the Pain was number 3. I don't remember
No,
which one it was.
Just Bring It was the first
Just
one, and then Here Comes the Pain was the second one for the.
It was. I was right. Damn it. Ha.
I mean, that was
Um,
pretty good too for a Creator Wrestler. That was pretty damn good.
yeah, there were times where like I was very into my wrestling game because that was the same time where I was really into Final Fantasy 9. Oh, I remember. Final Fantasy 9 is obviously one of my favorite games of all time. I have a giant VV tattoo.
Hey, God, I remember like the first podcast we did was was a Final Fantasy thing, and I think we gushed on 9. We basically lambasted 8.
Yes! You are one of my people. There's 2 types of people. There's people that love Final Fantasy 9 and there are people that are wrong.
Someone else said that too. It's like you either love Final Fantasy 9 or you're wrong.
Because there's a definitive like a crack between the fans because there are people who love 8 and I don't understand why. As somebody who's played, I've tried every Final Fantasy game except for the online iterations, and I love all of the ones everybody else seems to hate because I love X2 as well, and I don't like X.
X2 seems to be a big dividing line because I can see the merits of X2 because it's a job system based game, but it's a sequel to 10 where it became Final Fantasy Dress Up. Let's not lie.
Well, X2 is totally the dress up game, which I flippin' love. It's so tongue in cheek and silly. It just cracks me up. I maybe it's my pervy old manness.
Well, I mean, I love 10 though. Don't get me wrong. I love Final Fantasy 10. 10 is probably the most. I think it's underrated.
Underrated. It was one of the highest selling games.
No, it was okay. But when you talk about Final Fantasy 10, everyone's like,
Do you want to know why?
why?
Because there. All right. So
Voice
here's
acting. I think it's voice acting personally, but go ahead.
No, here's my FFA. It's kind of a voice acting thing, but it's so you have Titus and what's her nut walk
Yuna.
into a scene together. Yeah, Yuna walk into a scene together. She looks over the hills at this beauty. They really had maxed out the graphics ability of the PS2 at that point. Like that was it, and it was bright colors, and they had gotten away from their dark doldrumy stuff. But so Yuna walks up and she goes, "Isn't Zanarkand beautiful?" And Titus looks over and goes, "Yeah, it is." Waka makes some pithy comment like, "Hey, bro, you going to kiss her?" Then Kumari goes over and goes, "Huh." And now you get to walk. You get no plot development, but every fucking new screen was a cutscene.
That is true. No, when I go back, I was like, yeah, you're right. Everything was like always a new cutscene. I mean, if I could take away something good from Final Fantasy X, aside from like if you throw out the cutscenes, I did like the concept of Sin.
I loved Sin. I loved the grid system, and I enjoyed
Yes.
Blitzball.
I didn't like Blitzball.
Oh, I enjoyed it because I was really good at it.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
But FF9 for me it was amazing that I sat there after 2 weeks. I beat it in 2 weeks, and I was like, wow, I really hated that game. Like, it took me 2 weeks to beat a Final Fantasy game. They're completely sloughing off. Like, that's horrible. And then I looked, and I put 80 hours in over 2 weeks. And I went, oh, no, this game was awesome. Never mind. Best game I've ever played.
Now, actually, I do love 9, but I think it's like the only character I like. Okay, there were several characters I didn't use, but I didn't use Salamander. I didn't use him at all.
Yeah, no, I used Salamander. I didn't use what's her face, the big froggy mouthy thing.
I use Queen a lot. I
Yeah, I didn't
use
use Queen. I used Salamander because I liked Dragoons.
oh yeah, I used Freya. I used her because of the dragoons. I used Dagger and Aiko a lot. I used Steiner some of the time. Obviously I used
The oh, my
Zidane.
Yeah, my biggest failing in that game is you don't get to play as Beatrix because she was my
No, you
favorite character in the
don't.
game.
Oh yeah, you don't get to play as Beatrix.
You
Sadly,
haven't seen me. You haven't seen my leg. Holy crap, my leg is covered in video game tattoos, by the way, including the best piece on there is my VV.
I've seen the VV, but I haven't seen the other stuff, and I'm actually quite jealous, and I want to see them.
Well, maybe you'll see it this year.
Oh baby,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, we're
Were we
getting
talking about something?
hold on a second. Need a minute.
Deep breaths.
Dude.
Cleansing peach breaths.
Oh, see,
We're
what do you?
decreasing your user base by like the minute.
I know, I know. Come back. We'll talk about games. Honest.
You're about to ask me a question, sorry.
No, no, no. Have you played any games for the Wii U? Oh, do you have a Wii U?
No, I do not.
Oh,
I had a Wii, and then I lost it in a breakup. She got the Wii, I got the Xbox. But so no, I've never touched a Wii U. I wouldn't. You'd handed me the Wii U pad, and I'd go, "This is really neat," because I've never seen it before.
Mario Kart on the Wii U is amazing.
I'm sure it is.
I will say that right now. I do want to
I
play
stopped
Smash.
being a Nintendo guy. I just stopped being a Nintendo guy. It was
Why?
for no other. It's not out of like any hate of Nintendo. I thought Mario Galaxy was fun, but that's like the last Mario game I touched. It's just, I think my thought is that there's a lot of games out there already like these, including these.
Hmm.
I've played Mario games, I've played Metroid games, I've played Castlevania games, I've played, whatever the du jour is. I want to try new games. I play a lot of indie games. Like lately, I've been goofing off with Ollie Ollie 2, which is that stupid skateboard game. It's so tweaky. It's like a twitchy sort of glitch gamey sort of skateboard thing. But yeah, my thought is I've played all those before. When something comes out that's brand spanky new and unique, I will definitely try it. But I know what happens to Link. I know what happens to Mario. I want narrative.
Well, maybe I think a lot of times I think Nintendo really banks on the nostalgia aspect of their properties.
Yeah, they've said the greatest comment I ever heard from whoever Nintendo Muck was at the time was, "We are perfectly content with being number 3 because we will always be the best number 3." And you're like, okay, that's fine, I get it. They're not worried about having the best software, the biggest glitches, which has worked for them. They don't really care about all of that.
I mean, they want to be dedicated as a game.
Family.
Yeah, they want, well, not necessarily a family thing, but I think they want to be just the game system. They don't think they want to do anything extra. I think honestly, their new online system with the Wii U is a lot better. It's
Sure.
not. It's never going to be as good as Xbox Live or PlayStation Network. It will never be as good.
And as someone who uses PSP, let me tell you, I flippin' hate Sony's store. It is like the worstly organized. I don't understand how a company like Sony, who is like a multimedia empire of both movies and television and video games and audio, and how they can't hire one good GUI artist to put together a store that makes sense. It's horrible. And I love my PlayStation. It's garbage. Their store is shit. I have to go on my computer to buy games, which is fine. I don't care. But don't you want to make it convenient for everybody? It's miserable. Anyway,
I will say though, I like Xbox's games for gold. I like that so much.
I moved over to Sony when they started getting all the role playing games,
Hmm.
and I haven't gone back. I have an Xbox in my closet that I haven't touched in years.
Yeah, I mean, even though I played Tomb Raider, I'm downloading Tomb Raider because it's there.
Sure.
So it's like, I've gotten some good games. That's how I got Dark Souls. I got it for free. I got Borderlands for free. Saints Row 3, I got it for free.
I love the Saints Row games.
I haven't played it yet, but I want to play, and I'm going to end up playing it. I know I will.
That's actually the Saints Row Fleur de Lis is the next thing going on the video game leg. Yeah, I have a personal, like, I love the Saints Row games. They make me giggle. There's the dubstep gun that you'll get. It's great. You just
Wait,
start
wait.
playing dubstep and shit explodes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I shit thee not, sir.
Oh, I'm gonna have to finish another game.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. It's only like 12 other games that I have a current backlog of forever.
And at the same time, I have Madison, my darling wife, who sits when I'm playing video games wherever, and she's playing Pokemon. She's like just trying to collect EVs. She has every EV at this point. She's just trying to power level all of them. She wants an entire team of EVs she can bring and destroy people with.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want a team of Magikarps.
And just splash everybody.
Hey, no, the struggle. It's real. Because when they
Fair
struggle, because he's double power at like I think at like 1 health, but if he struggles, he can take out anyone in the game.
I didn't know that about Magikarp.
There are a lot worse Pokemon than Magikarp now.
There's like 700 of them, so I would presume so. I don't even think that's exaggeration on my part. I think there's 700 Pokemon.
796.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Hey, I still
Ow.
play Pokemon, so I not judging.
No, that's fine. When Matsuri rolls around, if me and my lady happen to be there, we'll have to talk about that. She will happily battle you with her army of EVs.
Oh, I usually will go psychic water. So
That you just that was so specific, and I'm like, I like the yellow ones. Like I don't play Pokemon.
because I'll use Greninja, I'll use Alakazam, I'll use Golduck, I'll use I don't know who else I use. And a random Pikachu because
Sure.
he's there.
Go with that. I think I know two of the ones you just said just from existing on the planet Earth.
Fair.
Yeah,
But oh my God, how did we get to Pokemon?
we took a long, slow journey to hell to get here. So
So okay, you said that you were more independent. Like you play more independent games. It sounds like.
lately, yeah, it's pick and choose on the AAA titles because a lot of them focus on stuff I don't really care about. So yeah, I will grab if something sounds really neat, I'll just grab it just to try it out. I don't mind dropping $10 on some dude who poured his heart and balls into a video game. Much more than I'd spend $60 on a game that is going to have glitches and need 5 updates before it's ready and has really great cutscenes and interesting shading and textures and what have you, but 10 hours of gameplay.
What happened to quality in games?
It's money, dude. It's all money.
Oh, I know. It was more of a discussion topic because my biggest problem was when when we played like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, even Genesis games, glitches were almost unheard of. And go ahead.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Go ahead. No,
Okay.
go.
The internet is the problem. The internet has, and I did a rant. I don't remember where I did it. So that might have been on LiveJournal. It was so long ago. But the internet like fucked up everything ever, and video games is just one of those things. Because think about it. You are a multi-million-dollar company. You can sell 100,000 units tomorrow and fix the problems next week, or you can sell 100,000 units next week after you fix the problems. Well, any up and standing company is going to go, oh, just we can make $100,000 tomorrow. Excellent, $100,000 it is. Pour the money on us. So yeah, they can fix problems on the fly. Where back then, it's a cartridge. You shove it in the machine. That's it.
Yeah, and I think also part of it is just basically a lot of it is upper management wanting to get it out on a certain street date.
Yeah.
And in me, having my background in quality, in being a QA person who finds bugs, there is a point of no return. When you actually hit a certain date and if I find something, it's like, hey, this thing's going to production. And a lot of times I'll get someone from my team or basically from developers like, too late. We've got to put it out there. We're just going to fix it in the next iteration. And
Did you
go ahead.
what book was that? Damn it! Was it Ready Player One that talked about QA in gaming?
I've not. It's one book I'm trying to find so I can read that. I've heard so many good things about that book.
Oh, Ready Player One's amazing. I don't think it's the game. I don't think it's the book I'm thinking of though. Shit. There's a. Anyway, there is a. No, it was Ready Player One. But there's a book that I read, fantasy, science fiction-y, that was very specifically about QA in gaming, and it was about how these people are trying to put together this world-wrecking game and this eternal glitch from when the first source code was made for the engine that it was built in. It gets real technical into the BS of the actual game as to why these glitches exist, and they talk very specifically about the QA guys who are like. And it's from the perspective of somebody walking to this company for the first time, and he goes, "Why is this guy just running at this wall over and over and over again and firing like spells at it?" And his mentor goes, "That's QA. It's not playing the game. It's doing stupid random shit that you expect your players to eventually do that will screw up your entire game and fuck up it for everybody else." So yeah, that's very much all QA is because these games are huge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like whenever I do the panel, I always talk about, because I don't work in the gaming industry, but I know how QA works, especially with a development cycle for something like a game. Because I know how it generally works, and you have to find use cases where, it's not going to be something normal that a player is going to do. You have to hit something, 300 to 400 times. Usually I think it's, with the way that numbers are, I think it's like maybe 256 or something like that. That'd be like the only ideal number I would think of, some power of 2.
Right, yeah, of course.
But even then, there's some things that really boggle my mind with, why they don't test certain things. Like I found a glitch in Devil May Cry, the new one that came out.
Ooh.
In the first 10 minutes, apparently, if you dash at the boss and you actually spring jump off of him, and if he actually moves forward, you get stuck above him.
Well, that's a shit's donut, isn't it?
But it's like it's so many conditions though, actually, because you have to do it just right. So I think because of how smooth the frame rate is and how much faster it is, I think you're going to see a lot more errors or a lot more glitches like that. And I'm
of course you are.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if they're ever going to patch it. I thought they would actually patch it since this game's already been out for 2 years and they didn't do really any major code change, at least not that I know of.
Yeah, no. After 6 months, that company's on to the next thing. Like
of course.
I just recently saw, and I found it to be interesting, so I watched it. There's a guy that's putting together Portal without portals, and I love the Portal games. And so the Portal without portal series uses all of the Portal glitches to beat the levels of Portal without actually using the gun, without actually having the gun for the entire game. But it uses if you grab the cubes, like companion cubes, you can jump and get up to high ledges by basically spam picking up and dropping the cubes themselves. And so that's clearly a glitch in the game. You can move up incrementally in space doing this. So I was like, that's an interesting glitch that nobody caught. Huh.
You wouldn't even think of doing that.
No. Who would think
that's
this shit?
Awesome.
Only nerds.
Awesome, though. God. Wow.
Yeah, check those out. They're really fun. They're fun to watch because then you go, I have no idea what this guy's doing, but it's interesting. And that, I will say, is so tie it all back to the beginning. Those are the kind of watching a Let's Play or watching something like that I will watch where it's something unique that I can't get from just me playing the video game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times if I will end up watching something, it's something like, hey, I need a tip on this. Like, how do they get past this? And then I watch something that's informative versus someone going, hey, I'm going to go through this level.
Do they do that?
So I think some people do. Like, I watched one guy who was going through Devil May Cry, and I think he was just more complaining about things. He was like, dude, why the hell are you playing it if you're complaining about it?
It's because we live in a world of Tumblerinas that like to bitch about everything.
Oh, you're drawing the aggro hate.
Bring it.
Oh, God. Oh, man, this is, wow. We've been on this almost like 55 minutes.
Yeah, look at us.
I know, we're awesome.
We're the best.
We're the best ever. Oh God.
Your
Oh,
weird noises confuse me.
uh, you didn't say that last night.
That's true. That's because you were wearing the gag. I expected them. Don't try and don't do this, John.
Oh, I not.
I'm a professional.
I'm like mere amateur rank, so I know where I'm defeated.
I I host burlesque shows. I shut down hecklers like a sumbitch.
Oh hey, and then you shut down hecklers.
Oh, I do.
But no, well, this was actually a lot of fun though. Actually,
Oh yeah, brother.
I've actually been looking forward to this one. So,
Yeah, when you had me on that panel at Matsuri that I missed because I'm an idiot or I was drunk. I don't remember. It was something.
oh,
Um, I came in like 5 minutes before the panel thinking it was just about to start. I don't remember.
and then Josh looks at you strange.
Yeah.
What? I'm trying to actually
Um,
get Josh to do this as well. So,
I'm sure he would be happy to eventually. He's a gamer.
yeah, I've gotten Danielle to do this already. So, which is
Which
kind of
Danielle?
Danielle McCrae.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got her to do this, and she was. We talked about Metal Gear Solid for like 15 minutes.
Ah, fair enough.
I know, but no, man, this was a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna actually do some remixing of it tonight, put my intro and outro on it, and I usually throw it on YouTube first, and then hopefully when I have my site finally ready, then I'll throw it up there.
Yeah, please make sure you give me all the links. I will share it amongst my peoples.
Oh, most definitely, I will definitely do that.
But yes, I would be thrilled to come back on your show.
Oh, yes, most definitely, and maybe I could stop by yours. Maybe.
Yeah, we've never had guests. We've never had call-in guests. We've only had like live guests. I would not be against it.
Sweet. Well, there you go. That was the end of episode 3, and with my lovely friend, Mr. James Hatton.
Thank you, sir. You can find me at somethingcast.com and inhislikeness.com.
Awesome. Yes, go see his shit because it's awesome.
Yay.
Yay. All right, and with that, just a few notes to actually add to this episode. The beginning intro was from Transistor. It is called Old Friends. I think it's the opening theme. And then the end theme was the victory music for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. See you in the next episode.